I hate folding. Folding is definitely the I hate folding, losing, and my body. Like I've been playing poker for 4 days, and I feel like I've been run over by a truck. I probably gamble a little bit too much, and probably the most fun experience is when you get it in real bad and end up winning. You know what I mean?
Salomon opens on the button with ace-jack of clubs. Perkins with 5-4. He's going to get in there.
Nice little suited connector. He said he likes to play pots with Ricky, even though Rick has position this time. I like his call. Perkins, that is.
JRB defends the straddle. Baldwin with ace-queen again. 10, queen, 5 gives top pair to Baldwin, bottom pair to Perkins, and a Broadway draw to Rick.
And in the minds of some, Bobby's hand might be slightly disguised here because he certainly could have elected to re-raise pre-flop with ace-queen. Notice Rick calls 30,000 on the flop with ace-jack.
7 on the turn. Baldwin slows down a bit. Rick checks back. 6 on the river, misses Salomon.
Right now, Bobby might be thinking that he just simply has a better queen than Rick.
Bang, 45.
Maybe even Rick has a 10, but he's trying to get value now from a hand like queen-king. Well, this will be really interesting if Rick raises, because notice that Rick can have 8-9 here.
Oh, I love this.
I love it too.
$155,000 bluff from Rick Salomon.
And Rick can have 8-9 here where Bobby really can't. He probably wouldn't have bet into the field on the flop with 8-9. However, Rick might have called in position, and Bobby knows that Rick is loose enough to call 30,000 on this flop with 8-9, but that's really what Rick is representing. 8-9 or nothing. Maybe 10-6 suited, maybe queen-6 suited are possible. Perhaps he slow played a set until now, although unlikely. So this is sort of a very polarizing bet. Does Rick have 8-9 or not? This is a very tough spot for Bobby, but I like this play regardless. It's just... It's a good play when you can have a stronger hand than your opponent based on the prior streets.
Look at this.
And it gets through.
Ooh, courageous. Bluff works, and Rick takes down a big one.
Sure was. A lot of heart on old Rick. Man.
24.
Perkins with 2 kings.
Might be an interesting idea for Perkins to consider limping behind. Always deceptive. The first limper often warrants some suspicion, but people never pay much attention to the second limper.
Well, Perkins raised to 15,000.
But of course I can't fault this.
And it's going to fall back to Rick, who has 10-9, and he makes the call.
And I think Brandon might have folded anyway, but I believe Big Al accidentally exposed a jack. Of course, makes Brandon's hand even worse.
Heads up to the flop. 2 9s and a 4, trips for Salomon.
15.
And trouble for Perkins because kings are still supposed to be the best hand here. It's hard to just put Rick on a 9, calling 15,000 pre, although Rick does like to get in there.
Turn jack. Still looks safe for Perkins.
It does, and I like this bet.
Another quick bet and call.
Interesting. I wonder if Rick will have an opportunity to check raise the river.
7 on the river. 50,000 down the drain from Perkins.
Raise to 150.
Call.
9.
Quick raise and a quick call.
Got me.
Very slippery from Salomon. Just check calls the flop and turn out of position.
You do that to me every time.
It's check raise in on the end.
That's little Ricky's MO.
That's Ricky's MO.
Just like that, a $400,000 pot to Salomon.
3.
Baldwin, who's back in the green, puts the straddle on his hand. And JRB is going to raise with 8-6 suited.
It's my buddy David Oppenheim's hand. The Ocho Seis in your face.
Rick wants to play with King 9 suited.
Two down.
We got a Robert Salomon battle.
He's reaching for ammunition. Hopefully we can take some.
Heads up. 4-9-7. Top pair for Rick. Open end for Jean Robert. Which means we got a pot brewing. 8 grand from Robert, 20 grand from Salomon.
Now, these boys play fast, too, don't they? Not just fast with their bet sizes and aggression, the literal speed of play.
Deuce of clubs adds a flush draw for JRB. Salomon checks.
And that was a huge turn for Robert, and I expect to see him bet something.
5,000.
I like Solomon's play here.
Did you like how long it took me to figure that out?
River pairs the deuce, and Balan is left with 8 high. Now Rick fires 25 grand in there with 9s up.
Interesting lead. It seems that he thinks Robert has a worse made hand than Rick. And Robert with the 80-dime bluff.
So
Raised
brutal.
78.
Why did I do this?
Because you thought you had the best hand, Rick. And you do.
The man can never, ever fold.
Good call. I missed.
You know, if you see your favorite poker pro being bullied, please go to stopbullying.gov. It's important we cut this short now while we can.
I just want to give Robert a hug right now. I want to go up and just give him a nice big hug.
I did not mean to do that to you, sir.
And now the apology from Solomon. So see, all's well at the poker table, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not sure all is well in Robert world at the moment. Jean Robert has multiple laughs per day that would be the biggest laugh of the year for a lot of people.
Move these chips over. Look at these cards.
Now the comedy special has broken down to a poker
Also,
game.
he's got the liability on my Cox cable bill, too. So, it's, I don't know what that
What do you mean, the Cox cable bill?
Yeah, he had to
Bobby had to sign for you?
He had to
Had a cosign. You weren't here earlier. He had a 750 credit score if you add all 3 of the agencies together.
Well, maybe Robert doesn't have the best credit with Cox Cable, but who needs television when you have 6 billionaires sitting around you playing live poker?
Yeah. Solomon doesn't give him any credit. He calls.
Cosign Mike.
And that 8 of spades is a great card for Rick. Gives him a straight flush draw. And the 6 of spades gives JRB trips, but Solomon has river to flush.
Dream River for Rick.
Ugly card for Ballant.
Man, what a disaster.
45K from Solomon.
I think Robert is going to have to call.
Oosh.
Wait a second.
Oh, $115,000 is the raise.
I don't really like this raise, AJ, but these guys have a ton of history together, and they've played more with each other than I've played with either of them.
I got a flush, I call.
Flush is good.
And Robert might not like this one when he really thinks about it. It's almost as if the cards conspired against him with Rick.
Yeah, I always wonder what you do for recreation, Nick.
Oh, boy. Well, I play a little pool. Read a little bit. I got a puppy. I don't know,
Beautiful.
does that count?
Sure,
Take
if
him
you
on
have to run
walks.
around picking up after
That's
him, absolutely.
recreation. Yeah, I love that little guy, Dino.
Especially in Brooklyn, you can't.
Yeah.
Of course. Ballon's got the straddle this hand, and Big Al got an ace-king and raises to 8,500. Solomon with 8-3 suited. Let's see if it works out better for Rick than it did for Bill Klein.
And Rick is dancing around as usual in position. Cards don't really matter to Solomon often. And I think I would have liked to see Big Al re-raise here, just given how often Rick 3-bets in position.
Ace is up for Al, but trip 8s for Solomon.
And a lot of guys, if they 3-bet to 25,000, really can't have an 8 in their hand. Rick is not one of those guys.
Raised to 75,000.
And I really don't like this check raise from Al. You're not super excited with the prospect of building a gigantic pot here. If Rick continues here, often you're beat. And if Rick has something like Queen 10, he's just going to fold when you check raise. But if you check call, maybe he'll decide to keep bluffing.
4 on the turn. Rick bets 100,000.
Call.
And a quick call from Al.
And Al's put himself in a very funny spot here, and I don't fault this turn call. However, I wouldn't have built a pot this big on the flop.
5 on the river. And Solomon just put the Carlos all in.
And I think now Al can get away from this.
You would hope.
As seemingly crazy as Rick may be, this would be real crazy.
I call.
You got an 8.
Call. Ugh. Every time he does this to me. It's the Rick Salomon.
Ouch.
So that's not the first time Rick's done that to him?
I think they have a long history of playing together, and I'm sure Al has bested Rick many a pot as well.
See you all later.
It's going to be a long ride home. So that brings an end to the session for Al DeCarlos, who ran into the buzzsaw that is Rick Salomon. Rick played a sneaky hand, hit the perfect flop, and took down his first victim.